Welcome back to Ultra Uncovered. I'm Corinne Shalvoy. Today we are missing Russell Ditsworth. He is very busy after spring break doing normal job things, so he will be missed on this, but it's a female only pod. Myself, I am joined by the founder of Runner, Kate Arsenault. Kate, thank you so much for being on.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to join.
Okay, did I pronounce the last name right?
You did. We fluctuate between Arsenault and Arsenault, so either way is
Okay.
totally fine. It's
I,
not an easy one.
I wanted to ask because, yes, as someone who gets their name mispronounced all the time, I understand that can be frustrating. So,
So,
well, thank you for being here. We're continuing our mini series here on some of the really cool and niche brands within the sport of running and trail running in particular. And Runner is a brand that you can tell us exactly when it started, Kate, but I've definitely seen it around a lot and seen it grown over the years. We wanted to dig in on your entrepreneurial journey, a little bit on your background as a runner yourself, and just starting the company. Some things about what you have going on for the future and exciting things right now, and also how you're thinking about the sport in general. Right, there's a lot happening in running, both on the road and trail side, some great, some controversial, some dramatic. And it's always interesting to hear, from people who are working in the space, kind of how they view that and then maybe how they interpret it and think about changing brand strategy or not, or like showing up, within all of those evolving trends in the sport. So I think it'll be an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for being here. And we look forward to, you know, I guess letting our audience learn a lot about Runner. I'm sporting my runner cap. I told you
love
I have a lot of them. I have the Take It Easy back in the back. You can't see it,
it.
but it's back there. Um, and that's one thing that's kind of unique about your brand is I've heard you on other podcasts. Shout out to Troy Meadows and the Mid Packer Pod, talking about like you wanted to start this brand for to represent the fun aspect of running and like just the not necessarily it being like something that's only the very very front end and the championship kind of elite performance, but just like enjoying the fun of running. So let's start there with what was your intention in starting the brand, and what did you want to bring to the space that you did not already see out there?
Yeah. So, we started like technically 2019 was like when we kicked things off and started like, seeing if there was a space in the market for this because what we saw was everything was so serious. You think about like a lot of brands are like, just, this will make you faster. This is going to like, you know, improve your, what metrics you're doing. And so it was so serious, which like there's definitely a serious and competitive side to running. Like I love watching it. I'm like super into it. But then also like there's the other like 98% of us who like adding a few seconds on or taking a few seconds off is not going to make a big difference for us at the end of the day. And we're out here like, you know, putting ourselves in pain and suffering through it and, waking up early and doing all this, but we're doing it because we love it. And so we felt like there wasn't, you know, a big presence for that, that like we're out here because it's fun. And then, the world shut down in 2020 and running exploded. And it was like people really dove into the sport and got to see like, I need this for my mental health. Like I got to get out of the house. I have to have space. I have to do something for myself. And so, you know, it was coincidentally great timing for that. Like people understood that like, yeah, I can do the sport too and it can be fun. So that's kind of how we wanted to place ourselves in the market.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And uh, did you find it was so 2019 kind of going into 2020? It sounds like you view it as a kind of a positive and maybe a boost for the brand that COVID was happening. Yes, there was more audience getting outside, and then, but did that, was it also, challenging to build a business in that
Oh,
environment? Like,
yeah, absolutely. 100%. So like, my background prior to starting Runner was I was in special education. Like I literally had no business
Good. So
Uh,
first of all, God bless you, because that sounds like the hardest job in the entire world. I know, I mean, we both have children. Our children, I mean, my children are hard, let alone being, yeah, so God
yeah.
so thank you for doing that
Oh,
first.
yeah, it was great, and I loved it, but it's funny, I go back and, like, my kids' classes now, and I'm like, "I couldn't do this." Like, I love what I do so much now, and it's not that I didn't love teaching, because I did. It was my life and my world, but I really love what I do, and I'm so thankful to be able to do it, but, um, yeah, I mean, so as this world is shutting down, as we were in Southern California, we were living in Atlanta, but we were visiting out in Southern California when everything shut down and like we were stuck. And then all of the boats, you could just see all the ships sitting out there in the port, and you're like, they can't even get in. And we're like, what are we doing starting this thing? Um, so it was pretty, we're like, is this the right timing? Is this what we do? But what um, Atlanta has a really fantastic running um, community, and they're great. And so we're like, okay, well, what could we do to like kind of like introduce runner, but like not make it so product focused? Like our whole thing is like we want to build community and we want to show the fun side of running. So we teamed up with the Atlanta Snack Club, which is a running club, and they're so
Nice.
fun. And we created a race series where people just got a GPX thing and they just went all around Atlanta through parking garages, across water mains, and all sorts of stuff. And that was a really that was a way to like bring revenue, and like we did merch for it and like introduce runner. And so it was a great time to like people all did this remotely, and a way for us to build community and awareness. And then that was kind of like we felt like we had support there, and we're like, okay, we do have something that we can continue with and grow. And so that was a
Good.
big part of this starting.
So it
Yeah.
was like that was kinda like a test environment for the
Yeah.
brand itself, and yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you started right there at the core of it, the community, the customer base being in person, like, all things that now, like, I'd say we're quite ahead of the game because, like, I was at TRE last year, I think I saw you guys, and I was walking around, I'm like, I'm here representing American Trail Running Association, and I'm also an athlete. And then the second I said, and I started a run club, everyone was like, "Ooh, can we talk to you about it?" And I was like, "That's like now the hot thing is like the run club is the thing." And I mean, yeah, we've seen it blow up with some of the celebrities starting them as well. But I'd say that was quite, yeah, like progressive and yeah, insightful of you to see that opportunity there. So then how did it develop from there? So like did you spend time, doing thinking a lot about the product, the brand, like just the ethos and like kind of just playing with different things, or was there something from the beginning like, we're going to do a hat that is a running hat and it's going to be in these colors, like how did it start?
Yeah, so my husband is a product designer. He went to school for industrial design.
Awesome.
So I'm super fortunate to have him as my, partner in this.
Yeah.
And Uh, so he really took on the design side of things, but he is the creative. He is like high in the sky, super dreamy. There's no limits. What could we do? And I'm like I was a math teacher. So I'm like, what are the numbers? What are we looking at? How are we doing this? What's the strategy? So, it's always kind of a pull between his creativeness and my like realism.
Mhm.
Um, and so, for him, it was like, we're gonna have all of these hat styles, and then we're gonna move into apparel, and then we're gonna like do all this, and and I'm like, I don't know if that's how it works. Like, I may not be great at this, but I'm gonna figure it out. And so we started with like 3 hats, and then did another 3 hats, and then we're like, okay, if we can make these couple styles and get people really liking those, then we can kind of keep the ball rolling and see what goes. And honestly, our headwear is, still our bread and butter. We have moved into apparel, which
Yeah.
people love, and it's great, but I mean, that's a whole nother realm
Yes.
of things. So being in the accessories world is really fun, and then having like token apparel pieces is what we really love to do.
Nice. And how like what I guess this is getting we're gonna right into like nitty-gritty details here, but how did you decide like what style to do of the hat? And at least from my experience with seeing your product line, I feel like this style where it's like ventilated and it's something you can wear running or not, seems to be like the majority of it. It
Yeah.
is that true? And like, how'd you land on this style? Because I've been in scenarios where I've like had to pick out, do do we do what is currently trending versus, corduroy versus a trucker hat versus a dad cap versus, so how did you guys
Yeah.
land on this? And did you want it to be something that was kind of timeless?
Yeah. So we kind of saw the trend of the 5 panel hats starting back then. And so we're like, okay, we do a ton of like research and testing and all of that on our end. And so like we tried out, I don't know, probably 15 different brands. And we're like, okay, well, I like this about this and I like this about this and I would rather it be this way. So it's like we kind of piecemealed a bunch of different things and testing and um being from Atlanta originally, it's hot and sticky and humid. And like my whole experience running with a hat was that it was hot. And so we built it like our biggest thing was like make something that like keeps you cool. And so
Mm,
all of our hats have like a ton of ventilation and like fabrics and stuff like that. And it's like I would get other ones and I'm like, oh, I get headaches in here because they push. So like, okay, these soft brims work really well and like getting the right thing. So it was really just about a bunch of testing and trying it out and figuring it out, to build something that we liked. Because again, that's my husband's background. That's what he does
right.
is build and test. And so we were able to do that and come up on our pacer hat, which is our main style. And then, we have other styles now too. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, I think that's this one. This is the
that's a pacer. Yeah,
this is the Pacer. The name of our dog. Pacer is the name of our dog. So yeah,
that's a great name for a dog.
that's awesome. I love it though, but, yeah. Well, thank you for wearing that. I lived in Atlanta for 2 years, or we did, and God, that was is brutal. I mean, I was like, even I can't even run at 4 in the morning here. It sucks.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I was training for like Trans Rockies last year and I went home to Atlanta. It was like 60 miles or whatever over 3 days and up in the Rockies. And I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna go run in Atlanta. And I did like 7 miles and I thought I was going to die. And I was like, this is not good. And I ended up being totally fine in the race, but I was like, that's how much the humidity just like
It's crazy.
destroys you. So
I know.
it was a great place to test product when we were
Yeah,
starting
that
out.
makes sense. So you created something you wanted to wear and
Yeah.
you wanted to be functional, and it sounds like the goal from the beginning was for people to wear it while they were running, right?
Yeah, well, so the other thing too that was a big thing when we started, it was like, Lululemon was really popular and everyone and the pandemic, right? So everyone started moving to athleisure. And it's like when you looked at someone in all Lululemon, we'll just go with that or whatever, you knew they were like did yoga or they were active and did Pilates, they did something. It's like when you looked at a runner, they didn't necessarily look cool. They looked
Mhm,
kind of just like a certain I don't know. And so we wanted to be able to have something that like you could wear as like a leisure item or like,
mhm,
every day around and still look cool and look cool as a runner. So we were like run leisure was kind of the idea that we came up with that like you can wear it every day, but it performs well for you too.
mhm. Do you
Yeah.
have a fashion, like, background, like, or interest in like, have you always been, like, interested in fashion and style and, like, how what
I
are some of the yeah, what are some of the brands that, like, inspire you, or, like, how would you describe your own personal style? Because I mean,
oh
you're
my gosh.
you're beautiful, I love the shirt, you got some sweet tats, we should compare, this is mine.
There you go.
Yeah, really cool.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, like, yeah, tell us about your own style because it obviously
Oh my
influences
gosh.
things.
If you I wish I could like have my photo album. I was like the most awkward child. And I was like, nothing fit me. I'm tall. I'm 5'9". I've been this size since I was
I'm
12.
5'10".
Like,
I'm
yeah.
5'10".
And so I was like huge and I was awkward and I wasn't thin and nothing fit me. And like most of my clothes came from like garage sales or secondhand. And so like, and I was an only child. And so I didn't have like a sibling to like, be like, you look stupid. You should probably change. Um, so I think it's funny that like this is what I'm doing now because my mom and I were laughing the other week because there's a picture of me from baseball, like our baseball photos, and I have this hat on that is probably like this tall. And she's like, "How ironic that you now make hats." And so I just like I always grew up being like really awkward and like nothing fitting right and having a hard time. And so it has really been, I think, for like college, I finally started like getting some stuff. But for me, I've my biggest thing is like how I kind of frame my style is just like stand out but fit in. So
Mm,
I don't want to be like cookie cutter wearing the same thing that everyone's wearing, but I don't want to be so like loud and obnoxious that people are like, that's a little out there, like
okay. Okay.
so stand out but fit in. And so I really just like I piecemeal together a lot of different things, and that's kind of like how I like to go.
I like that. I like that a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, again, you're ahead of the trends. Like going to thrift stores is now cool again,
I was
vintage.
like, I know I can now shop at thrift stores again. It's great. I love it.
And like yeah, it makes me think of the Pharrell hat that was like the super tall hat.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
you were just channeling Pharrell when you were that.
That's what it was.
It works
Totally.
out. Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I can absolutely relate to the tall, awkward. I didn't grow until after I grew like 2 or 3 inches after high school, so I was like super late bloomer, but yeah, there are challenges with being tall, namely that no pants fit you whatsoever, ever.
No pants. They still don't fit me. I'm like, still can't find pants. So,
Agreed, agreed. So, yeah, so okay, so let's talk a little bit about, like, how did you start to, like, then scale this brand? And, like, did you decide kind of, "We're going all in. This is what we're right now, and therefore, we're gonna maybe either take on some debt or we're going to, carry a certain amount of inventory because we wanna do it ourselves." Did you slowly, like, build into that by doing anything like print on demand before you're, making your own stuff? Or what did it look like to kind of start to scale the business?
yeah, that's a big question. I could talk for hours on that one, but
Okay, Cliff Notes,
um,
Cliff Notes
Cliff
version.
Notes. I know. I'm gonna give you Cliff Notes. So, you know, basically, like we started growing really quickly, and we're like, how do we keep up with this? Do we want to have an investor? And we were like, no, I want to own this. Like, this is my thing that I'm building. I don't want someone to come in and like take over, right? I want
Mhm.
to keep this as much as like I can.
So
And
pause. When did you start growing like quickly? Or like what do you think led to initial really good reception of
um,
the product?
I don't know, like I don't know. I think the thing that we hear time and time again is like, I love your designs. Like your designs are unique and they're
Mhm.
different and they're fun. And so like it's again that like stand out but fit in type concept.
Okay.
Um and so I think people just started to notice it, and it was really cool. It was probably like 2023. It was just like I had to hire, and I was like, I can't do all this by myself. We're growing. I need help. And so we've continued to be self-funded. So like I'm not taking home big salaries. I'm not doing anything. Like we have good months, we have challenging months. But for me, it's all about putting it back in. We I feel like a lot of times, especially I guess not coming from a business background, like, well, you have to take on debt in order to grow, right? Because like you need to make more than you're currently doing. So we got some bad advice on that, and you know we started like bringing on agencies and people to do books and email and ads and all of this stuff because that's not our expertise. And
Mhm.
so and then our Instagram got hacked and deleted in 2024, and so it was marketing that we built for 4 years just
Uh,
disappeared. And
yeah.
then like tariffs hit, like we had a bunch of different things that fell in, but like basically what we said is we're like, you know what, we're scrapping everything. All agencies are gone. All like everything's done. We are going back to the basics and we are doing everything. We never had more than like 4 employees, ever, and we continue to be about that same size. But we're now taking everything on ourselves.
Mhm.
And so it's just a matter of like, it's letting us have control and making sure that everything is done the way we want it to do. And that has made it so much easier to now afford things and not have to take on this debt and not have to do all this because we are managing everything ourselves and we see everything that's going on. So that's kind of been, over the last year and a half, that's been the big shift, um, to just everything in house.
Okay. Awesome. I know you guys have a warehouse.
We do.
What is the time frame from a design to you selling it?
It is like, um, how fast can my designers work? Designer work.
Do you have to
My
get
poor husband, I'm like, deadlines, deadlines, so but once we have like a design approved,
Mhm.
it's about between 60 and 90 days until we can get it going or, like get it launched.
Okay.
So
That's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty quick.
fairly quick. If it's new product development, like when we move into apparel and we're doing stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's anywhere from 6 months to a year.
Yeah. Because you just need to see it and get samples and like
Fabrics, cuts,
yeah,
seams, there's treatments, there's all sorts of things. But
cool.
yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that's super interesting and exciting. So let's talk a little bit about like I had mentioned this to you before we started, but like how do you think about how do you think about marketing? Because we talked with and I don't know if it'll come out before or after, but a couple other so Tarek Noda, who I don't know if you know of, right, Alex King, he has a very specific thought on marketing and not spending money on it so that it doesn't add into the cost of the product, things like that, and it is a unique approach, but, um, how do you guys decide, where those marketing dollars should be spent or where you're gonna get return based on your, customer base?
Yeah, so I mean, we've tested a lot of different things, trying to see kind of what works. And this market too is changing so quickly. You mentioned run groups, like weren't a big thing and now they're a big thing, and brands are using those as marketing. You have events, you have athletes, you have collabs, you have all of these different things. So, for us, it's been a lot of trial. And I think what we've come down to like really learning is that being in person, showing up makes the biggest impact for us. So, like, we will be at LA Marathon, we will be at Javelina, we will be at, whatever. And if we take that and we figure out a way to really be able to engage in the community that way, like for Javelina, we did the Pacer hats for everybody. And so, like, all the Pacers got it. And it was like a token to show, like,
Mhm.
how much work they're putting into, and so for us that's the biggest thing because I feel like, and I mean, I'm tired, like I have been everywhere the last like 5 months, but me showing up at events and our small team, people connect with that. It's not just, we don't have a sales rep standing there, we don't have just someone we're paying there to be there for the day. It's our team showing up, and for us that makes a big impact.
Yeah. Yeah, it's super personal. I mean, yeah, I think especially in the ultra running and trail running community and probably the broader running community, it goes a long way, and I think it's noticed, and yeah, I mean, we're just such a participatory sport, but also, like, yeah, we're all about that's what the whole sport is about is the community, and so I think it makes a lot of sense that that's, where you would go. What about not have you guys ever thought about having or do you have I shouldn't say because I don't know, do you do brick and mortar or is it all just, direct digital direct?
We have We do a lot. Like direct to consumer is a big part of it. We also do customs. So we have a huge custom program for races, events, brands, run clubs, all of that. So that's a great way too that we help like create stuff for groups and they get quality product. And then we we do brick and mortar for like your local running store.
Okay.
And for us, that's been a smaller focus for us.
Mhm.
And like we definitely see the benefit of when you're in store, and we love to be able to tell people, "Oh, you can't get it here for your race, but go check,
Yeah.
here." But it's a lot of management to do and a lot of, so we do have it and we have some really great ones, but yeah, it's
Okay.
a part of what we do.
And then when did the ambassadorship or working with athletes, or I don't know if you do anything with, quote unquote influencers, some of which cross over the athlete and the influencer. But when did that decision like come into play, and do you feel like that's an important part of kind of the marketing as well?
Yeah, I think we started I mean, I started it in like 2021. I think people were just emailing like, "Can we do an ambassadorship?" And I was like, "Sure. Like, let's try this. Let's
Okay.
figure this out as we go."
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
So it was a lot of that. And then we had someone who on our team who was helping us out with that and like did a great job of like really building community. And but at the end of the day, like when we're looking at things, we've decided not to do it for this year. And I have mixed feelings about it because it brings a lot of support. We love connecting again with like
Yeah.
the people who wear our brand and support it. But we're trying to figure out some other way to bring that in a capacity, just not to the fullest that it was. But what we are looking at doing, and as a focus for this year, is we do want to celebrate some. We want to celebrate athletes, and we want it to be people who really like embody the brand. Um, so we have an announcement of an athlete coming up soon. We're super excited about. She's very on brand and very fun, and you'll see her at Cocodona. So we'll announce that soon, but
Ooh,
that's coming. And
nice.
so we're just trying to find people who really embody it and work with them as best we can.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay. Talk a little bit about like road versus trail. Like, you know, do you feel equally as drawn, like invested in both? Like that, like anybody who runs, even if they don't race, obviously, is a customer or could be, or is, somebody that you guys want to appeal to. Um, but yeah, just curious your thoughts on like, is one group easier to work with than the other? Are you trying to split
I'm
time?
not answering that question.
Okay,
I'm
okay,
just
okay.
kidding.
Yeah, no, I get it, I get it. That was a deep que or that was a
There.
loaded question.
Oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No,
Events-wise between, because I know you guys did some, super cool stuff at the LA Marathon, and then you mentioned Javelina also. Yeah, so just, thoughts on that.
yeah, no, I love both sides of it. I'm just joking because yeah,
Marathon?
people
Major
in
marathon?
those worlds are so different. Um, but I think it's funny because like working LA Marathon, people come up and they're like, "Are you running?" And I'm like, "I've been standing on concrete for 12 hours a day for the last 3 days." Like, no. Also, like, I don't run road marathons. Like, I feel bad, but I'm like, you won't catch me ever running a road marathon. Like, I just love trail, and that's what
Mhm,
I love.
mhm.
And I've run one road marathon, checked that box, and then I was done. But I think that it's very different. It's different conversations between a road runner and a trail runner, and I think that it's fun because it's just like I don't know. Everyone's out here, you know, doing different things and for different reasons. But I do think it's really funny if you can get you know, a road like at LA Marathon, for example, like, well, what's your PR for the marathon? I'm like, dude, I have no clue how fast I could even run a road marathon at this point. Like, no idea.
Yeah.
Um, but and it just changes the conversation having you go to trail events and having that conversation, and they're like, oh, well, I slept on the side of the trail on my 100 miler, or I was out there for 3 days for Moab, and so it's just interesting and it's different conversations and it's just different lenses through, which you see the sport. But um, I mean, being a trail runner at heart, that's my favorite, but I love both sides, but I think it's fun. I
Yeah.
also love to see people going really fast on the road and just like, wow, my legs could never turn over like that. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, not to like, yeah. Do you think there's not not to be, because I'm a trail runner too. I've done two road marathons. The first one was Atlanta actually with my husband, and it was hilly as all get out.
That's a hard road marathon. Yeah.
Then 15 years later, I did Tucson, which was a very, very different experience, and I was a very different athlete, and there were 2 kids in between and all of that. Um, but but obviously from a brand and a visibility standpoint, right, it
Yeah.
is one of the reasons that you are going to the road marathons. It's just that there is a bigger audience there, and there's, a ton more people to be able to get exposure to, or, you know, I guess, are
I
there other motives?
I think that, like, our products work for all runners. So,
Yeah.
like, in reality, like, I feel like if we were doing, like, hydration packs, which tend to lean trail, right? Or if you're doing something that's more trail focused, but, like, headwear, socks, and accessories kind of work across both sports. So, for us, it's equally important. I don't prioritize marketing necessarily one way or over the other.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense for sure. Cool. Okay. Little bit more on the philosophical side of things here. Um, Tell us what you feel like your brand stands for.
Um, I mean, I think, I feel like I'm saying it over and over, but I feel like our brand just represents like the fun side of running, like the less like why you're actually out there.
Mhm.
Like, and that's what we represent, and for just like, um, you know, being comfortable, feeling good in what you're wearing, like helping you feel confident as you're like starting your training run or towing the line at the race. It's like, I want something that like I know that if I feel good in what I'm wearing, that I will have a better race experience or run experience just in general. So, yeah.
Cool. Okay. And then is there anything that, I mean, I kind of touched on this earlier, but like inspiration wise, that's like really exciting for you right now that you're paying a lot of attention to from just kind of like, I don't know, we want to go this direction, or this is giving me a lot of good energy that whether it's, you know, I don't know, anything else, anything in a other brand or something, a person or a song or anything that's particularly, like, kind of inspiring you from a I don't know, that standpoint right now?
Um, I don't know. I think honestly, what's been most inspiring for me lately is like that taking ownership of things and like us doing it all and us being able to just kind of like, okay, this is what we want to do. This is what we see is working. This is like trends that like maybe aren't in running, but like that like we think are cool and want to go after. And so it's like I'm really inspired that like to see the growth, to see us taking on these things and being able to like really build them the way we want and just not feel like we have a box that we have to stay in. Like,
Mm,
we can pull from different concepts and themes and colors and like it doesn't have to be, well, we're only doing basic things. We
mm,
can get a little wild and fun and you know, make kind of what we want, which
cool.
is
Yeah,
exciting.
like a reinvestment in the original, yeah, like,
Yeah.
idea around the brand. What's your favorite runner hat that's ever been made? Do you have one?
That's ever been made. I do. I actually wear it for every race that I do, and it is the purple crew hat, and it says "Fast Enough" on it.
Fast enough.
Because to
The
me, I
orange.
like yes, the orange "Fast Enough." Because for me, it's like you can be fast enough to podium, to qualify for Boston, or to beat a cutoff. Like it doesn't matter. Like you're making it to the finish line fast enough. And like I just ran Catalina Island Marathon last weekend, 2 weeks ago, whatever. It was hard. It was very hard. And I was super undertrained because I've been working so many events. And it's like, I wore my fast enough hat. And was I fast? No, but I was fast enough and I made it and I had the best time running it. And so to me, that's my favorite product because it just like, you know, keeps me, I guess, motivated while I'm out there.
I love that. How did it come to be? Did you guys just brainstorm one day that slogan or that saying on there? What
Yeah, I feel like our team has so much fun together. Like we spend a lot of time together and like cooking or traveling or going to restaurants or like, delirious after work events and stuff like that. And so I feel like some of these things just come up,
Mhm.
or like we'll just yeah. And so it's just a lot of brainstorming within the team and everything it does feel organic, which is nice. We're like, oh, that's a good one. Or like, just being able to talk it out with a close group of people is pretty fun. And everyone here is a runner too, which,
Nice. Yeah.
helps.
Okay. Cool. What does just like success look like for you guys? Do you feel like that is something and, you want to hit XYZ milestones? Is it just continued growth? Like, I guess just thinking nearish term future, like what would make you feel like you've had success within the brand in the next few years?
Um, yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm pretty proud of where we are now. I think we've made it through a pandemic. We've made it through tariffs. We've made it through, you know, a lot
Mhm.
as a team. So to me, I feel like successful now as we are, and I'm very happy with that. But like obviously, and then I think too, success for me is like being a role model for my kids. I have a 6-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they see how hard their mom works and how much she puts into it. And so if I can instill that work ethic in my kids, maybe like a little less, maybe like a little more self-care than, I give myself, but if I can instill that and then in them, then I feel like not only am I successful in business, but I'm successful with my kids. And then, ultimately, yeah, like I like have a financial goal I would love to hit, like I'm a competitive person, I'm a driven person, so I'm always trying to like, you know, see what we can do and improve. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm pretty happy with how we're going now.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay, so thinking a little bit about let's stick on trail instead of like just the trail culture. Um, you know, it's changed some, it's stayed the same some over the last, I mean, I don't know. I've probably only been super tied into the space for maybe 8 years or so, but is there anything in the sport that you are particularly like, "Yes, I love that this is happening," or that you're kind of, like, not a fan of right now?
Uh, I'm a big fan of it being more inclusive. Like people who never thought that like trail running was an option for
Mm,
them or like doing long distances, like if we're speaking specifically to ultra, that like ultra was even in the realm of what they could do. And so I think it's been really cool to see the growth of just people who are like, yeah, this is my sport and I can do this, even though it seems crazy. Um, I also love that like the amount of women entering trail running and ultra running is like, you know, growing so much. I think that's great. Um, so I love all of that. I think and, you know, these killer trail athletes, you know, they're finally getting like a following and a recognition and stuff, like for the amazing athletes that they are. And so I love all of that. Um, but at the end of the day, I do love like the old school trail running, like like a good fat ass race. Everyone just shows up. We all just try and run a 50K or for however long, and we all bring our food and like it doesn't have to be so serious. So I think that, making some of it extremely commercial and, expensive and things like that is like the not so great side. But, it is a payoff for, getting people, bringing awareness and getting people into the sport.
yeah. Okay, great. Okay, I have a few just rapid fire things. Quick
Cool.
questions. They might take long, they might not take long. But yes, everyone should go check out has the Instagram following, you know, are you in a good place now? I mean, I'm sure you can always use more followers, but was
We
it
can always use more followers, but yeah, it took, uh about a year and a half to get everything back, which honestly, 4 years of growth to get back in a year and a half, I'm pretty excited about.
nice?
So, yeah.
Nice. Well, yes, we will link everything. Go check it out. Go follow, check out, current products. Is there a piece of apparel that I mean, the shirt you're wearing is pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Is there a piece of apparel like you're excited about or that you want to say anything about the apparel coming out?
Yeah, so this is our muscle tee that we did, and everyone loved it. It's great. And what we've decided to do is to make it in LA. So we're really excited. So we're bringing that, and it will be out in May. So we've got a new muscle tee that's coming, men's and women's, and we're just really excited to launch something that's like local to us.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
really cool.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. All right. So your personal the first one here is what is your personal favorite trail race?
I'm gonna have to say Catalina Island. I loved that last 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah.
That was just awesome. The views were incredible. Nothing like taking an hour and a half boat ride to the start, see if you're gonna get seasick, make it interesting. Yeah, it was
I
beautiful.
I coach a good friend of mine who that was one of his key races last year, and yeah, he was like he went there every year with his family, but he was like, "There's a race here, and I want to go do it." And you traverse the whole thing, and he said it, yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Also seems like you know, fairly fast, but you said it was hot. But yeah, Catalina Island, is it called the Avalon or something?
There's Avalon in January, but this is just the Catalina Island Marathon. So
Oh,
this
okay,
is in
yeah,
March. Yeah.
but it's a trail marathon.
It's a trail marathon, yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Okay, what is your favorite piece of gear?
Oh, I I'm gonna go with my Fast Enough crew hat. That's, like, my favorite thing. I love that hat. I got roasted it helps keep me not sunburnt. I live in the desert now, so, that's always a good hat. I have to
Nice.
say it.
Okay. Um, a brand that you personally admire.
Mm. Um, there's so many. I don't know. Oh, I'm terrible at this. Um, I don't know what I mean, honestly, I've really enjoyed seeing recently is Mount Coast come around.
Yeah.
Got their shoe and it's fixed my problems. And I just really like that they're like, coming into the market so quickly with a really great product. And they're not coming in with like a million different things. They're coming in with like something specific that's really good. So I don't know. That's one that I'm really excited about.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I've only been to TRE twice, but it was the last 2 years. And the year before last, I remember seeing them and they were like kind of had this like makeshift, like not very built out space stuff like leaned up against the wall. And I was like, what the heck is this? But there were a lot of people there then too. And then this year it was like a full aid station. It was a very cool setup. And like it was obvious how, how they'd grown just in the last year, and so it seemed they have some great people working over there too, like, shout out to Ben Blankenship, and
Yeah.
locally here, Luke J, people that are cool, so I
Nice.
I agree with you on that one. Is there a dream collaboration that you have? Like, if you could see a runner hat on one person,
I don't know.
anybody.
One person or just like one collab? I I don't know. I'm torn on that. I mean, who wouldn't want Courtney Walter wearing your hat? I would love that personally. I mean, sure, if I could pick one person, it would be Courtney. That's it.
Sweet.
I
Courtney
think that
or
would be
Harry Styles.
amazing.
No. I said Courtney or Harry Styles.
There
No.
you go. There you go.
That would be even more incredible considering the fact that Courtney never wears hats.
I know. I know. So
It
it
would
would be a
mean that
huge
much
feat.
more. It would mean that much more because
It would. It would.
not
For
only have you
sure.
converted me to a runner hat, you've converted me to hats in general. So I agree that would be good. Okay, I've got two more. What is the Tell us a little bit about one of the best runs of your life ever.
Oh, best friends of my life. I think when I met my husband at the start of a race.
Mm.
So we met on a bus. We were smack talking about who was faster and who was going to win. And it was a short, like 10K trail run or whatever, but it was fun. And we sat around and had some beers and margaritas afterwards. And he asked me out on a date. And I was like, I don't know, this seems kind of fun. And so that was probably one of my favorite running experiences.
Awesome. 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 Okay, and the last one is there a brand you can think of, and it doesn't in or out of the running space, that you think maybe deserves more attention than it is getting?
Mm, Gosh, there's so many, and I'm like, for me, especially as being a small business owner, I'm like, just look for small businesses.
Mm.
Like, just it can be anything. Like, I love I love buying clothes and fashion and stuff like that, and I'm like, what can I do that's not like a big store? Like, where can I? People are making amazing things, so I think like, you know. I don't have one, but if you just like whatever you're doing, if you can find a way to find someone who's a small business, it means so much more to them. And you get something that's like really thought about instead of like, all right, this is the season, we're going to throw it out and scrap it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, just in anything, just small business shopping. Really,
Support small business.
yeah.
Love it. Love it. Okay. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. Anything else you want to tell us about Runner? I mean, I know that we'll have everybody go follow along, and I know we'll see you. What is there an upcoming trail race that you guys will be at?
Upcoming trail race. No, I don't have anything on the books yet, but I'm working on our fall schedule. So
Will you
we
be back at
will likely,
Abilene, do you think?
yeah, we're planning to be back at Javelina, and we're trying to add some more trail stuff in. So if any people out there for events, you know, want Runner to show up in locals California area, let us know.
Mhm.
We can be there.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much for taking your time. I know you're super busy, and yeah, just appreciate you inspiring others to create your own business. And um, yeah, shout out to the female entrepreneurs out there. Keep doing what you're doing. A lot of people love all of your stuff. I really think your designs are super cool, and for what it's worth, I can feel the intention of it wanting, to be accessible and for everyone and fun, and but also like very functional and cool at the same time. So I think you're hitting the mark there. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
well, thanks. I love getting to chat, especially for, other entrepreneurs and women doing, that in this space. And so I appreciate the time and getting to tell a little bit of my story.
Great. Thank you, Kate.
Thanks.